So I thought I'd do a short little video of how we actually firstly picked up Zeus from quarantine when he came from overseas, and how we brought him into the home and introduced him to the girls. So here I am picking him up at the quarantine facility in Mickleham in Victoria. And here I am looking at him for the very first time, and I just couldn't believe my eyes. I was waiting for 11 months. Just under, because he was 11 months when he arrived. He was quite scared, but he was so beautiful. Popped him in the car, had to drive out of the quarantine facility because I was waiting for my husband. And then when he arrived, I took him out. Thought I'd give him a little bit of food just to kind of help that with the bonding. And we were just so happy that he arrived safely. Here we are just taking him out of the crate. So we ended up putting him back in the crate for the car ride, since he's used to kind of being in that on the aeroplane and in the facility. And so I thought we'll just pop him on the back of the ute, and that way he's safe, won't be as anxious. Then here we are bringing him out. I just thought he had the most beautiful eyes. So I had kind of put the girls in the back on the other side. I've got like a division fence. So I thought, look, rather than them kind of all jump over him, I'll let him come in on his own into the yard and then introduce them slowly. Well, that's what I thought, until my husband had other ideas. But anyway, here I am just taking him off, because you've got to be very careful of their joints and so forth. And yeah, didn't want him jumping out. And here he is just having a bit of a smell of our backyard.
Who's that?
And then the girls were just, that's Bella up on the fence barking. And then I've got Harley and Misty, the two females. I was already pre-told by the breeder that he loves the girl, like all other dogs, very friendly. So I knew we weren't going to have an issue. And my girls have been very highly socialised, and they all get along really, really well. So I wasn't worried about that. But I just thought, let's just introduce him, have that barrier for now. He was a little bit scared. As you can see, he's dropped into a submissive position, which I kind of expected anyway. And the girls are just all pretty excited, tails wagging, weren't sure what was going on there. And for those of you who don't know, we can't bring pups into Australia. They need to be 6 months old and then start a range of vaccinations and tests. And then once they're all cleared, then they can come into Australia into a quarantine facility for 10 days, where they get assessed again, vet checked, and then they can be released to us. We don't have diseases like rabies in Australia, so yeah, Australia's really good like that to protect itself. And then my husband just lets the girls out, so I was freaking out a little bit, because I'm like, oh my gosh. But anyway, he's just like, well, they got to like introduce anyway each other, so let's just put them all out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. But my husband was there standing, supervising everything. Bella, she was about, I think 1.5 there. Misty was about 6, and Harley's about 2. And Zeus, like I said before, was just 11 months old. So he was pretty happy, and the girls were very curious. So that was good. So I was so happy, because, bringing an older dog in and not as a pup, it's always, you always wonder at the back of your mind, is it going to fit with the dynamics or not? But they were pretty happy here. And then I ended up just kind of leaving him on his own a little bit, then putting him with 1, then putting him with 2, and then kind of just doing that just so he wasn't too stressed out. And also the huge change coming from overseas into his new environment, new people. Also that's such a huge change for them as well. He would have bonded with the breeder overseas. I know he invested a lot of time into Zeus and his son as well, because he knew he was coming into Australia. So making sure his temperament was nice and stable. This was Misty, my older female. So I thought I'll put her with him. She will sort him out, correct him, do all those sorts of things. She's had 2 litters of pup. She's retired now, but she's really good at correcting. So I thought, I'll pop her with him, and he'll just follow her and learn from her. And then there's my husband just playing a bit of tug of war with Zeus. So we just could not believe that he arrived. We were just waiting for so long. We picked him out at about 8 weeks old. I found the breeder. I happened to come across him on Instagram and messaged him, and yeah, he was excellent and did everything over and beyond to get him into Australia. So very, very difficult, not easy. And there's Misty and Zeus again playing. Like two big bears. So yeah, that just made me so happy. And then we brought him inside and then we had a bit of a sleep. And just to try get him used to the inside environment. So that's Zeus coming into our house.